Hello. I have to have a dramatic beginning, I thought. This is Toronto. This is my city. The Blue West Village is my neighborhood. I live in it, and as I speak, I'm going to breathe my last in this neighborhood. But then again, it's precious to me because we raised our son from his almost 1 year of life after we moved away from the annex, an equally sexy neighborhood. And I would like to say that if one is university friendly, this neighborhood is family friendly. And the Blue West Village comes in all forms, all colors, all races, as does Toronto, with its multicultural culture. My first impression of Toronto when we landed from Phoenix on a January 1st, 1994, winter's day, all bundled up, came the next day when we set out to explore the city. It pulsates with this atmosphere. You walk into a 1990s coffee shop and hear Alanis Morissette singing, uh, I'm young and I'm underpaid, and so on. And she sings simply to a classical rock beat, giving a high five intro. And This is the impression. This is the impression I got, that it is vibrant and has the atmosphere of vivacious people, and it brings out the best in you. Uh, in Toronto, I embarked on my academic adventure, graduate chemical engineering school. For I took I for I did dual master's programs in chemical engineering in the University of Toronto. But soon after came motherhood. Right after, 2 weeks after defending my MASc thesis, there came motherhood. My 9 months of gestation period was followed by simply blissful days with my baby, who was a handful. I have to tell you this. The child, the boy, could not suckle at my breast. He had to be shown how to latch onto my breast and suckle milk. But then, you see, that didn't work either, because the lactation consultant, as my mother swore, needed to and my mother swore before the lactation consultant advised me to use it, needed a nipple shield. And Anne Marie would make the baby latch, but I couldn't. He chewed off my breast almost at one time, but then the nipple shield would. And I breastfed my son for 3 years. And there were other blissful days, but because he was simply done. You would fall in love with this child, really. Um, but he has his he has his moments, being very sweet. Nobody's sweet. Nobody I know is sweet. None of my family is sweet. They dish out spice. Friends, they're mean. I just now found out about somebody who has a vindictive side to her, an older lady, and whom I've never said is old. All right, all these people I never call old. I myself am middle aged at this time. I refer to myself as middle aged, but I call these people older ladies. How polite of me. They're old. All right, they're at their dotage. All these men and women. But then the very vindictive side, and I say that um, what was my point? I say that I live and swear by it. Yeah, nobody has a nice side. Some people but you wouldn't be want to be praised to your face to such an extent. Once is nice. At work, engineering, who says you're simply beautiful, my darling? That's like a Matthew McConaughey line. Simply beautiful, my darling, with a southern accent. But you know, engineering school, I mean, easy on the eye is what you get, or a raised eyebrow, that sort of thing, eyebrow, and that sort of thing. That flushed. I remember a professor. He's the chair now. I remember I told him. All I said was, and that was all you could say. You can't flirt with them outrageously. Although I wouldn't mind flirting now. I rarely run into men. How sad has my life become after chemical engineering years ago? Work, the academic and work environment. Just said he's a chair now. I said, "Hello, professor," and he flushed to the roads, ran, and I guessed that he liked me because, but never showed. Had funny ways of showing all this. They're all nasty professors. There another professor who has moved to UBC. I went to drop off a resume. Very strict. Did not give me the job. No, no, no. In chemical engineering, they do not get impulses of generosity and hire you immediately, although they have millions of dollars of funding. I might add. He just put out his leg, and that was a sign. The leg thing, you see, the leg thing, and that was it. I dropped off the resume. He was not even nice. He didn't even give me the job. Another professor looked longingly at my breast. It was in a slightly decollete blouse. You cannot wear blouses like I wear on my YouTube webpage. And the man looked longingly at my breast, said I was too expensive to hire. But that was it. Those were the signs. I had a couple of blonde young men. I have a weakness for blonde young men. Blue eyed, hazel eyed, however they come. They're so different from me, you see. So they danced attendance on me. This is what they say. I went out to coffees with them every day. The Dutch and Swiss guys, and there was an assistant, an Iranian assistant who was the only one who said a couple of times, but that was doing it a little too brown. He said, "Oh, your beautiful eyes must be feeling tired." I felt uncomfortable. Oh my God! But he was a good man. He was a good man. All right, and has gone on to lead adventures in the world of chemical engineering after getting a master's in chemical engineering. Yeah, yeah. So they were all like that, and all the before that, graduate chemical engineering school, easy on the eye. What else? I guess you're the sex goddess. Those were the lines. And then maybe I guess I leaned on my shoulder, but that's about it. That's about it. There were professors, heads of hospitals, and Toronto's strict work culture. You must all follow it. Strict work culture. That's the beauty of Toronto because people are not tormented at work by people whom you don't know, that sort of thing. You know, it set a precedent. Anyways, the annex with U of T, with the University of Toronto, within walking distance, I beg your pardon, has the Philosopher's Walk and Second Cup and the U of T bookstore. You know, the best thing about the U of T bookstore, I I asked for it. They didn't have it. They have all sorts of literary books. I asked for a Georgette Heyer. And that's how the British say. And the lady, this is Canadian. Georgette Hires? We don't have Heyer, Hire. I mean, like Heyer. Hey, Georgette Heyer. But Canadians, you see, they like hire, Georgette Hire. As in hire people who read Georgette Heyers? Oh, I would like that, please. Walk up or take the subway to Bloor and Yonge, and there used to be Hudson's Bay, which was not as intimidating as its Queen Street store. I pinch myself from my reverie of the past and how the years have flown by. Our son, Pranav, grew up here to the beat of the Blue West Village culture and the St. George and college atmosphere in a private high school, and the existentialism and political vibes of Victoria College in the University of Toronto. The Blue West Village has the feel of pulsating pop music. Dance, little lady, dance. If the man who taught me, my husband, just in case you missed this, how to dance the Kama Sutra, my husband, is your average guy, as described by Joe Walsh. He was a mover, trust me. Wait, I had to say that. Stating the obvious, as my husband would say. But I would like to run into a guy who, like Hauser, sings his song or chants the mantra. I drink my whiskey neat and my coffee black. You're too sweet. And I'm going to take a look, this man, I'm going to look him in the eye and say, man, oh man, I like the hint of spice. I assure you that men like these exist in Toronto with its bakeries, its sports stadiums. Sports stadiums are so good. Although I haven't been to many, I think they spoil all these grandiose statements with saying the truth. Yeah, but my husband goes TFC in the cold and watches TFC. And we ran into in the midst of nowhere, Las Vegas airport, just a couple of weeks ago. This couple, the lady was pretty, and so was the gentleman who raised a child and she went through pregnancy watching each of these TFC games and uses expletives. The lady uses expletives. And the son has grown up to 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old. Yeah. Watching all these TFC games. Nice. It's such a nice sports story. So the sports meet in Toronto. TFC. Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto Raptors. Well, the Toronto Argonauts. They're not bad too. Then we have the Olympics coming. Yeah. So, anyways, sports stadiums, it's TTC, its current summer feel, and its past winter magic and autumnal delight. The passing of years has shown me prime ministers with their rainbow visions, premiers with their instinct for duty, and mayors and city councillors with their sense of Torontonian drive and culture. Quoting Barack Obama from his book, A Promised Land, in another context, and you have to listen to his audiobook, as I've said in my talk on US presidents. If Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, has a bit of a French accent, swears my son, who knows French really well, and he delivers his speeches with a sort of a panache, with a flamboyant side to him once in a while. Mostly he's all business. But Barack Obama has a deliberate style and a stylish intonation, has a stylish intonation and accent. I like the black, hint of African American touch, very hidden, very unplaceable, very unplaceable. But nevertheless, it's there, and so that's nice. And so, as Barack Obama has said about in another context, Toronto looks like except he's talking about a Toulouse-Lautrec painting, and I say Toronto looks like a modern day version of a couple of Renoir paintings, Pont Neuf, Pont des Arts, and it has given me a sweetheart deal, graduate chemical engineering school, and work along with my additional 1 year's work experience with my child's son in Ottawa, and all my years with my now 25-year-old son, minus his 2 years on a master's program in Seattle, but he spent pleasant summer and winter breaks with us. So that was my prepared talk. I want to end by saying that In Toronto, where men are men, as it was in the Wild West, Phoenix, you would run into men, and they didn't pull out guns from their holsters, and there was nobody who had a gun there. It was out, but it was nevertheless it was outlaw country. Toronto is not outlaw country. It's the East Coast. It's all, how would you put it? Civilized civilized country, where men are not fresh, but sometimes they are. But I've always been married. They're not fresh. But the hashtag Me Too thing happened, and maybe some other women experienced. I don't know. There was a movie where the guy comes and says, "Is it hot in here, or is it just me? Or is it just me?" I would like a guy to say that, and I would say, I don't know what I would say. I would say, um, I don't know. I probably you feel compelled to say something, some nice line back to them, all right? Because men are men. this is the um, um, this is the um, trendy East and not the wild, wild West. For we were in Nevada, Arizona, and Utah, where there are canyons. And no, the horses are very cute. Horses are very cute. You see them grazing in the meadows. If you see meadows there, I mean, but we were going after winter, so we saw a lot of meadows. The heat uh, was difficult to bear, and there was a sports field. I mean, NHL is going on, but I never did have a man look me in the eye and say, um, "What should a man say in the wild, wild west?" Uh, he could say, "The phone. It's interrupting my flow of thought." He could say, he could say, um, um, "You look pretty. Do you want to square dance with me?" And I would say, I certainly would. Would I? Would I? No, I would not. I would say that to a Torontonian man. But how you would look, you become ridiculous. They show all this in movies. Nobody does this in Toronto. You may go outside and dance, but it's also winter in Toronto. But in movies, they show them dancing in bars and in the middle of um, the bar sea atmosphere. But that doesn't happen in real life. But Toronto may have that happen, and that's why you need to live in Toronto. All right, signing off, Gayatri B. Sitaram.